Alright, today we're going to be doing our first ever deck tech. This is Puyo Puyo. Very strong deck, it hits real hard real fast, and it's pretty simple if you just know what the cards do. So this card right here, it's an on-play Ricky. Searches your deck for level 1 or lower if you pay 1 and clock yourself. Very useful, it's an extra copy of any level 1 or lower card in your deck. You go ahead and you play 4 of it. This card here is this Tap Self Salvage Brainstorm, which is a great card to have in any set, but it also goes ahead and gives the middle slot hexproof, protect a bigger card late in the game. This card here is a little bit different. He is a level 0 stock bomb, which is great. Goes ahead and gets rid of something. It doesn't trigger their on reverse effects, but it also has pay 1 when this card's damage is cancelled, draw a card. It can plus you early game if you're doing. This card gives plus 500 power, global to all Puyos, as well as having pay 1, give one of your Puyo characters plus 1 soul. In this card here, you play 2 of, it's just Drop Searcher. It's very valuable to have, can discard Climaxes, which is something you always want, especially in older sets like this one. In this card here is the last of our zeros. It has on attack, give another card plus 1 level and plus 1000 power, as well as being a discard bond to one of our level 3s, which we'll get to later. This card here is one of our 2 level 1 combos we play in this deck. It combos on a plus 2 soul, which is great because it just pushes people really, really hard, makes them take a lot of damage, as well as that same climax being used for our level 3 combo. This card here, you play as a 4 of, it's a level 1 reverser, and it has this card here also has the climax combo of when your opponent levels up, salvage 1. And that triggers for each one of these that are on the field. So if you've got 3 in the front row, as long as they're all 3 in the front row, your opponent levels up, you salvage 3. If you can push them hard enough that they do it again, then you can salvage another 3, giving you an insane amount of hand in one turn. Now this card here, this is our other level 1 combo. It's a simple card. It has, on the turn it's played, it gets 500 for the number of other Puyos that are on the field. And this card also has, on attack, you can top check. If it's a Puyo character, add it to hand. Which, just a solid card to have, nothing crazy, but it's on a stock soul, which can help us plus early game, get some more stock, that way we can build up for later. And this card here is pretty funny. It works well in tandem with our other level 1 combo, the one that needs your opponent to level up. It gets plus 1 soul in the middle, and it also has Clock Encore, which means if you need a card to stay on board, you'd rather clock yourself than end up wasting any stock or hand. This card here is basically the same as a Ricky. And this card here is very good. It's our only blue level 1. This card is a double refresh. On play you can discard a card, and then you can make both players refresh their decks. Now, we'll move on to the level 2s. There's not a whole lot of them, but this card here is a very good counter. This is a 2/5 backup at level 2. It has, when you use this card's backup, you can go ahead and look at the top card of your deck, you reveal it. If it's a Puyo character, add it to hand. If not, leave it there. You can check to see if what's on top is a climax. If it is, stays there. If not, goes to your hand and you're one step closer to canceling. This card here, you have him in your deck because it is a anti-early play bomb. It's very good. It sends to stock. Very interesting card. It also has pay 2 on play, search for a Puyo character, which isn't fantastic, but it's still pretty good. If you really, really need it late game and you've got 2 climaxes there, might as well use it to pay them out. And this card here, the last of our level 2s, it is plus 1000 to front, as well as giving hexproof to those slots. So this card here, you don't always get it, but if you do see it, it's a very solid card to be sure that your opponent can't target your level 3s. Now, moving on to the level 3s. Got this guy here, very strange. He's our other blue card besides the Ricky and the level 1. This guy is an on-play healer. He early plays if your opponent has 3 or less climaxes in their grave, which is a bit strange, but on play you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a climax, send him to memory, and then next turn he comes back in. So he time machines. Once he comes back in, he heals again, getting you 2 heals for the price of 1 card over 2 turns. You play 2 of them just because he's a pretty solid card to have. This here is an early play look at top X, X being number of Puyos. This is what we use to get any other copies of our level 3 combo, as well as getting any climaxes needed for them. It's just a great card to get what you need in your deck. It does early play, but this specific deck doesn't play the card for it. We could splash them in, but it's not a great card. It's just decently big if we're very early game, and there's no need to have that level 0 in every build. We play 2 of this just to get our late game supplies. This card here is our level 3 combo. This girl has, on play, this card gets Cancel Burn. Very simple. It's a good card just with that effect. When damage is canceled for the first time, burn 1 damage. Very, very simple effect that we all know, we all love, but its second ability, when it triggers off of the same climax, the same +2 soul as our level 1 combo, this gets Cancel Burn again. It also gives every card on field +2,000 power, so if you play 3 of it, all of these are 16Ks with 5 soul, and they get, the first time their damage is canceled, burn 1 twice, which is just an incredible card, very, very valuable to have. The only other thing that we haven't shown off is the climaxes, which we have already mentioned. This +2 soul is the one that triggers both the level 1 and the level 3. There is another one you might see sometimes that is the level 3 character on it instead of the level 1. It is the same named climax, so you can play either of them to trigger both, but that one is in fact a land. This here is just a stock soul for a yellow card. You go ahead and you play it, that way you can move a yellow card into your stock for later. Plus it gives you the top checks, which are very valuable to have just to be able to get more hand. And that is actually it. Like I said, this deck is not very complicated. It's very, very cool. It has a lot of great value in it, but it's not something you'll run into very often. If you do ever see it, be careful of that level 1 reverser. You know, it's not something you really want to end up fighting against. And you might also end up playing against versions of it which play things like the Mill Runner, or maybe a different anti-early play card. So you always want to watch out for strange decks. But anyway, that's it for today's deck tech. If you want to go ahead and follow the channel, we can show you all the other strange decks we'll be looking at. We're trying to stay away from meta cards, as it can be kind of boring to see the same decks over and over and over, but we will be showing off some pretty cool decks here in the future. So keep that in mind, and hope you have a nice day.